My sister is a popular female star. The kind that is popular but also has a lot of haters. I was brought along by her to a detective-themed variety show. When doing a task, my sister's nemesis taunted, "ROU. Is this your sister? The straight-tail lawyer? It's hilarious. If she can solve this problem, I'll call you sister from now on." I raised my eyebrows and glanced at the question. 6. Everyone was confused. The nemesis said, "What's with the 6? Are you making a joke?" The director looked pleasantly surprised. "Correct answer." The nemesis' face instantly turned ashen. I sneered, "If you want to be my sister, do you have the brains for it?" All of our family are straight-A students. Except my sister. So, I'm not surprised that she has a large group of haters in the entertainment industry. Because she's really not that smart. I heard that her haters have developed some sort of affection for her. How does that saying go? If ROU has a scandal, her haters will be the first to help clarify. My mother thought I was too rigid and unfeeling. So my sister hurriedly brought me to this detective-themed variety show. She hoped that I could use my smart brain to experience the fun of being around those with average intelligence. Sister. That's when. She always laughs at me for being stupid. In the dressing room, ROU whispered in my ear and pointed at the woman who was touching up her makeup. She's covered in powder all over. And her perfume is overpowering. I curled my lips. If she can't taunt you, you're really stupid. ROU pouted pitifully. All of our family are straight-A students. Except my sister. As a brainless female star, her popularity is all due to luck. And Wen is a scheming woman. Her success today is all because of her little tricks. It's not without reason that the two of them are nemesis. ROU. Is this your straight-A sister? Wen walked over swaying her hips. The role she played was a prostitute. Well, she really looked the part. And my sister played the role of the young lady in the commander's mansion. Characterized by her simplicity. Of course. Otherwise. Be like you. All boobs and no brains? ROU flipped her hair. Well, I have to say the production team really has an eye for casting. The barrage had already become lively, hilarious. It's already the 8th episode. Why are these two still arguing? ROU's sister is so beautiful. Their family has really good genes. Look at Hua's expression. It seems she really doesn't want to admit this stupid sister. A must-do for ROU's haters. Go to the super topic to diss ROU every day. ROU. I'm really speechless. There were also 2 male guests in this episode. Both popular male stars in the entertainment industry. The NPC on-player character who was the victim hadn't appeared yet. And we started to follow the plot. Today was the commander's birthday. And we gathered to celebrate his birthday. Hello. I'm Ping Chuan. The man nodded politely. The Xin beside him grinned. "I'm's in. Sister. You can just call me Xiaoxin." I nodded. Hua. Sister is so cold. That's the male god Ping Chuan. Sister. Just smile. It's the first time I've seen such a cold-faced beauty. Woo woo woo. Sister. Look at me. Was ROU adopted? Damn it. Another ROU hater. ROU. I heard that your sister is very good at handling lawsuits. Is it true? Wen suddenly said with a smile as she came closer. Obviously talking to ROU. But she had to squeeze between me and Ping Chuan. That perfume smell was almost making me dizzy. I silently stepped aside. Don't you usually go online? The videos of my lawsuits are all public on the internet. And after it was clearly stated that I would participate in this variety show, a number of views skyrocketed directly. Wen's smile froze. The 2 male stars beside us had been holding back their laughter all this time. And only ROU burst out laughing. Wen, go and get online quickly. It's killing me. Damn it. I wonder if when Mom gave birth to Hua, she used up all the good genes. What's it like to have a sister who loves to show off? Just ask Hua. Wen's little tricks are really not worth mentioning in front of sister. Bah. 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 Wen is beautiful on her own. I hate these two sisters. The person upstairs is crazy. I glanced at our OU, and she immediately restrained herself, because she understood the warning in my eyes. Our OU has been prone to getting into trouble since she was a child, especially with her mouth. She says whatever she wants without using her brain at all and has offended a lot of people. And every time she cries and comes to me, it's to ask me to clean up her mess. Wen snorted and then turned to go to Xin. According to the schedule, the NPC commander should have appeared by now. Aren't we having a birthday? Why hasn't the commander come yet? Xin was the first to ask. The others quickly realized that something was wrong. Our OU half ran and half chased after me. Sister, where are you going? Our OU, why does your sister like to run around so much? Wen looked dissatisfied on her face, but still couldn't help but follow. The room was locked, and to open it, one had to unlock the combination lock on the door. Looking at the patterns, they seemed to be physics symbols. Wen covered her mouth and laughed, taunting, "Our OU, won't your sister's straight taste Tuden persona collapse? It's hilarious. If she can solve this problem, I'll call you sister from now on." I raised my eyebrows and glanced at the question. 6. Everyone was confused. Wen rolled her eyes. What's with the 6? Are you making a joke? It's so hilarious. Even a straight-taste student can only say 6 when seeing this. What a stupid question. I don't understand. It's all a mess. Our OU looks so funny. Hilarious. 6 is the correct answer. How is it possible? How can the answer be just one number? Are you kidding? The director looked pleasantly surprised. Correct answer. Wen's face instantly turned ashen. The netizens were also stunned. The clown is actually myself. Why does our OU still look so confused? Help! Where did you guys hide our OU's brain? I really like the straight-taste sister. Woo woo woo. I looked at Wen and sneered. If you want to be my sister, do you have the brains for it? It's just a coincidence. This is just the first question. What's the answer? Wen said reluctantly for the sake of her face. Oh. Then why didn't you know that 6 was the correct answer? Our OU made a face. I looked at her OU with disgust. You're such an embarrassment. Confirmed with just one look. This is a real sister. This is really discrimination from a real sister. Please let Hua be a regular guest. Solving the problem so quickly is so amazing. These people are here just to be funny. Wen also snorted. Did you hear that? Your sister said you're an embarrassment. I was helpless, aren't you? Pingchuanans in beside us couldn't help but hold back their laughter again. Our OU, who was originally bristling, was instantly soothed. Sister is right. She's also an embarrassment. Our OU said happily. I reluctantly curled my lips. Confirmed with just one look. My sister is really hopelessly stupid. Pingchuan entered the correct answer. And sure enough, the door popped open. However, the NPC commander had already been brutally murdered in the bedroom. There was smoke everywhere in the room. And there was also a glow, which was really scary. Our OU hid behind me immediately. Sister, protect me. Such a timid person. The cold-faced beauty is here. And Pingchuan and Dexian's presence has disappeared all of a sudden. What's going on? Can the production team give Pingchuan more camera time? He's my husband. Why do I feel that Pingchuan has been looking at Hua? You must be blind upstairs. Pingchuan is beautiful on his own. It should be handsome on his own. Okay? Wen immediately sneered. Our OU. With so many of us here. Are you still afraid that the NPC will get up and eat you? But just as she finished speaking, all the lights in the building went out. Sister, help. Help! My sister. Don't move. Don't move. Aha HH8. In my ears were our OUs, and when screams one after another. And there was also a male voice, which sounded like XIN's. Is the man also so timid? In the darkness, by the faint green light in the room, I made eye contact with Ping Chuan. His pitch-black eyes were bottomless. But I looked away after just a second. The NPC servants in the commander's mansion appeared. Everyone, go back to your rooms first. The master has had an accident. The police will be here soon. No matter what you hear, don't open the door. But the NPCs didn't expect that we had already run upstairs and entered the dead commander's bedroom. They were stunned for a moment. But after looking at the director, they quickly carried the yellow lanterns in their hands and sent us to our respective rooms. No. I want to sleep with my sister. Our OU refused to let go no matter what. The NPC looked at me helplessly. Our OU. Don't be like this. Go to your own room. As soon as I gave the order, our OU immediately let go. I was a little scared at first. But this is so funny. Thea. Is our OU so afraid of her sister? Is it possible that our OU is afraid that her sister won't save her later? Sin is so pitiful. The hand that wanted to pull Ping Chuan's clothes retracted again. When the side has already gone crazy. The NPCs led us into our own rooms, which should be the ones prepared for guests in the commander's mansion. And as soon as I entered the room, I heard the sound of the door being locked at the entrance and some faint screams. It should be my sister, and Wen and the others. There are no ghosts in the world. At most. It's just people pretending to be ghosts. I remember that this variety show is only a detective-themed show. Why has this episode added a horror atmosphere? Could it be that they want to scare us to death to increase the highlights of the show? The production team has already turned on the night vision mode. So all 5 of us will be in the live stream. The room was pitch dark, without a single ray of light. Suddenly, there was a sound coming from the wall. I listened carefully, and unexpectedly, it was Morse code. There is a mechanism in the room. It can open the door. Who is it? I recalled the order in which we entered the room just now and immediately thought of Ping Chuan's face. He also knows Morse code? However, unlocking the door is the most important thing at the moment. I started to grope around according to the hint. Hue. Your sister in the next room has already been scared to cry. Why do I feel that Shi Wei and Ping Chuan are in an extra chapter? Is this a single line to ask? Ping Chuan is knocking on the wall in the next room. Can Shi Wei understand? Could it be Morse code? Damn it. Damn it. My brain is not enough. Sure enough. I found the mechanism in the corner. One of the lanterns in the room lit up. I observed the surroundings. At first glance, it was indeed a simple bedroom. Soon, I focused my eyes on the lock on the door again. Is it a combination lock? I looked up at the pitch-black cabinet, moved a chair to stand on, and reached up. Who knew that just as my hand touched the cabinet, the light inside suddenly lit up. A bleeding doll. The kind whose head was about to fall off. Suddenly, eerie music, a child's laughter, and a nursery rhyme rang out in the room. Today is my birthday. Mommy and Daddy took me out to play. On the road, I met an uncle. The uncle praised me for being so cute. Aha HH. Help. Barrage protection. Barrage protection. Opened it by mistake. Bad luck. Go away. Hua really has no reaction at all. Is she still human? Silently looking at the 5 rooms. It is estimated that only Hua can get out first. But didn't the NPC just say that we can't leave the room? I calmly took the key from the doll's hand and jumped down from the chair. Then I looked at the camera, and said, the doll is the little girl in the nursery rhyme. The uncle should be the murderer who killed their family. This is the commander's mansion. Then let's try the commander's birthday, which is 815 today. Then I entered the password. And the door lock opened. The netizens were completely silent. I'm really about to cry. Is sister afraid that we don't understand? She even specially explained. She's really so kind that I could cry. In such a terrifying environment just now. She was still able to think. Why does our OU have such a smart sister? I'm deeply involved. Is this the joy of being with a smart person? Thank you, sister, for still considering our IQ. After I opened the door, the corridor was pitch dark. The other four people hadn't come out yet. And the key in my hand was very likely to open one of their 4 rooms. Ping Chuan knows Morse code. So he should be able to get out of his room at least. Could this be the key to his room? I was for a moment. But suddenly there was a noise downstairs. Ping Chuan stretched out a hand and quickly pulled me in. Originally, Ping Chuan was worried that I would be scared. But who knew that I just held the lantern and looked at him like this? Ping Chuan couldn't help laughing. Sister, aren't you scared at all? Aren't you the same? I raised my eyebrows. We were very close. And Ping Chuan's breath sprayed on my neck, causing a shiver. What a strange CP. I'm starting to ship them again. Shipping everything will only harm you. Woo woo woo. 2 fearless people are together. And there are 3 timid ones shivering. ROU, sister. Have you forgotten your sister by Daming Lake? Woo woo woo. The person upstairs wants to make me laugh to death? Suddenly, there was an NPC outside the door as it seemed. Where is the person in this room? Hurry up and find her. Don't let her find out about our affairs. Let's go. Go quickly. Then, it became quiet outside the door. Is it simply for the plot? Previously, the servants didn't let us run around randomly. There should be a third party mixed in. They are not the police. Which means they have something to gain from the commander's mansion. They are afraid that we will find out and ruin their plan. I said calmly. Ping Chuan nodded. Then let's go and meet up with them first. I suddenly thought of something and helplessly held my forehead. With my sister's brain. She probably really can't get out. In a certain corner. ROU silently sneezed. Ahahathaya. Sister knows ROU so well. Can Hua be a regular guest? I like sister's personality so much. Sister. If you don't go and save your sister will go crazy. Next door. When Enzin are still trying hard to solve the puzzle in their rooms. Only ROU is still howling for sister. Ping Chuan also thought of this. So the 2 of us carefully opened the door. After confirming that there were no NPCs outside the door. We then went to ROU's door. OU. It's me. I knocked gently on the door. Who knew that ROU directly threw herself at the door? And her miserable voice came through the door. Sister. Save me. I thought. What an embarrassing sister. OU. Look at what your room lock looks like. Are there any questions or something? Ping Chuan asked patiently. But ROU had no brains at all, and had already cried until her voice was hoarse. Brother Chuan. The room is pitch black. I can't see anything. Ping Chuan was silent. I resisted the urge to beat ROU to death and directed her to find the switch and then read the question. Fortunately, the production team knew her IQ. So the question given was just a simple chicken and rabbit in the same cage problem. Before ROU came out, Shin and Wen had already solved the puzzle and come out. So as soon as ROU opened the door, Wen couldn't help but sneered and covered her mouth while laughing. ROU. Without your sister. Would you just lie in the room today and wait for the paycheck at the end? I have a sister. What do you have? ROU pouted. Wen pointed at her own head. I have a brain. As the saying goes. It's not very harmful but extremely insulting. ROU looked at me like a defeated little rooster. I glanced at Wen. I saw it. No need to emphasize. Help. Every time I hear sister talk now, I always feel there's another meaning. She's really so cold. Woo woo woo. Brother Chuan is silently standing beside her. Don't randomly ship CP. What a mess of everything being shipped together. Watch seriously and talk less. Everyone had already gathered. Ping Chuan and I repeated to everyone what we had just heard the NPC say. Sister. I heard it too. I was so scared at that time. ROU nodded like a chicken pecking at rice. I automatically ignored her words. Now we are completely confused. We can go and see if there are any findings on the body first. Wen was the first to disagree because she was also scared. But the objection was invalid. I had already strode towards the room of the dead. As soon as I left, ROU followed closely behind. Ping Chuan also followed closely. Xin didn't dare to break away from the group at all. Only Wen was left. She had to follow even if she didn't want to. Who knew that the room of the dead was locked again? This time it was an old-fashioned lock and needed a key to open. There's no other way. We can only go and look for clues elsewhere first. Ping Chuan looked at us and said. I nodded. The commander's mansion is a bit big. Let's split into 2 groups. I'll take my sister. And Ping Chuan. You take the 2 of them. ROU nodded happily. Wen was not happy. ROU. Your sister really protects you. She's only taking you alone. Hue. After all, this is a show. You can't always just think about your sister. I smiled and said yes. Then can you go alone? Wen was speechless. Wen can only out-talk ROU. Sister is very observant. She even knows that when Enzin are timid. It's so nice. She doesn't want her brainless sister to drag others down. The person upstairs really knows how to talk. In the end, this decision was unanimously approved. ROU and I went to search the 2nd floor, while Ping Chuan took the 2 of them to look at the 1st floor. The 2nd floor was basically guest rooms and a study. ROU didn't dare to leave me even half a step. She held onto the corner of my clothes with one hand and followed me in small steps. Sister. I believe in you. You can definitely do it. ROU said to herself. I directly ignored her and started to search for useful clues. In the study, there was a notebook, an album, and an IOU. I took these things, and then took my sister downstairs to meet up with Ping Chuan and the others. By this time, the atmosphere among the 3 of them had become a bit strange. Sister. We just found scattered newspapers. The clues on them point to Ping Chuan. His purpose for coming to the commander's mansion is not pure. He is very likely to be the murderer who killed the commander. Xin looked cautious and then put the newspaper in my hand. They had all read this newspaper just now. Since the 5 of us are gathered here, we must all have some connection with the commander. Are you just here to attend the birthday banquet purely? Ping Chuan shrugged inferently. ROU shook her head vigorously. I'm not. The commander is my father. How could I kill him? Who knows if you are his biological child? You don't look like your sister either. Wen put her hands on her hips and said in a strange tone. ROU glared at her. If I'm not his biological child, could you be? All right. ROU. If a dog bites you, do you have to bite back? You're already an adult. Can't you use your brain a little? I pushed ROU away in disgust. Only then did ROU pout and stop. Wen's face was green and white in patches. She muttered in a low voice. I also want a sister. But I don't even have parents. However, I directly ignored her. I shared the clues I found with them. The diary wrote about the commander adopting his comrade in arms child. The album. ROU. See what I said? You are indeed not his biological child. Wen laughed happily. ROU nervously looked at the commander. Seeing this, I immediately understood. I patted her head. I believe you didn't. ROU. Yeah. My stomach hurts from laughing. If it was really ROU who committed the crime, Hua would solve the case in the next second. The production team really understands ROU. Wen has some brains. Sister is right. Nonsense. When did sister say that? Starting from today. I'm Hua's fan. Friends. I just checked. Hua is really a double master's graduate from a famous school, and a super powerful lawyer. So isn't this a game where a king leads for noobs? I feel that Ping Chuan is not simple either. Let's see. Husband is so handsome. Can the Ping Chuan fans control themselves a little? It's so annoying. Hue. One of you and your sister is the comrade in arms child. After Ping Chuan finished speaking, I understood what he meant. This script is indeed written like this. At first, I was the only daughter in the commander's mansion, so our OU is the comrade in arms child. There are also clues in my room. The commander killed his comrade in arms family. He pitied the child, so he brought him back. Our OU's script should be about revenge. If she wanted to take action tonight, she definitely hadn't succeeded yet because the commander was already dead. So she hadn't made her move yet. I concisely explained. Our OU blushed and nodded, admitting this matter. Then you are so smart. Maybe you are the murderer. Wen looked at me sharply. It could be seen that she really wanted to confront me. There is also an IOU here. It was Xin who borrowed money from the commander. Logically speaking, he doesn't need so much money as a chef. Ping Chuan nodded, agreeing with what I said. Xin, who was originally relieved, suddenly found that the spearhead was pointed at him. He stammered. No. It was Wen. I looked at Wen, and she seemed even more guilty. She was still holding her head up like a little rooster before, but now she lowered her head. Obviously, the general's death had something to do with her. As for Xin, he seemed to compromise and sighed when asked me to redeem her freedom and borrowed money from the commander. The commander was a good man. How could I kill him? What if you couldn't pay back that sum of money? So you wanted to kill to silence? When raised a reasonable question, I was quietly observing on the side. It's over. It's over. Dogs are biting dogs. Why are these two confronting each other? Why doesn't sister speak? It makes me so nervous. The production team is really good at causing trouble. I can't guess who the murderer is at all. Could it be that who is really the murderer in the end? How is it possible? Then as a prostitute, how could you appear in the commander's mansion to celebrate the commander's birthday? I think you are the one who wants to kill the commander. Qin was not to be outdone either. I timely gave a sign to interrupt the two of them. Because not far away, several people were shining flashlights over here. There they are. Catch them quickly. Aha hhh. It's over. It's over. Run quickly. We're dead. Run away quickly. ROU. Wen and Xin were too fragile-minded. They were easily frightened by the slightest sign of trouble, and were spinning around in place. I helplessly held my forehead and quickly ordered. Quickly smash the lanterns in your hands. The few people did as they were told, and suddenly the pursuers were blinded. But those people were still chasing after us relentlessly, and the five of us together were too big a target. Moreover, the shiny daggers in their hands glinted in the night. My sister was so scared that she hung on to me. Woo woo woo. They are serious. Who was joking with you? So after I said to run separately, I dragged my sister and turned into an electrical switch room. But how could it be Ping Chuan in the narrow electrical switch room? The two of us could only look at each other. Ping Chuan blocked the door tightly. After the people outside tried to open the door several times and found that they couldn't, they left. Where is my sister? I was stunned. I remembered that the person behind me had always been our OU. Ha 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 Thaya. You've already lost your sister. Where did our OU hide just now? I didn't see clearly. These two people. Something is not right. I don't even know how I was dragged here by you. Ping Chuan smiled helplessly. It was a bit embarrassing. I coughed lightly twice. Rather than letting the strange atmosphere spread in the electrical switch room, it's better to take the initiative to find clues. Let's go out. Before the police come. We need to figure out the situation. Ping Chuan agreed to my proposal. So when that group of people searched on the second floor, we looked for clues on the first floor. When that group went to the first floor, We hid in the stairwell. At the same time, Ping Chuan and I also noticed that the statue in the hall seemed a bit off. But if we wanted to see clearly, we needed to restore power to the commander's mansion. So, we went back to the electrical switch room. I frowned. The wire is broken. It should be for us to help restore power. Ping Chuan then went to get. Let me do it. I looked at him suspiciously. 1 minute later, the entire commander's mansion was successfully powered on. It seemed that among the 5 of us, not all were fools. There was still one who was hiding his true abilities. I looked at him meaningfully, and then went to the hall. Our OU and the others also came out one after another. As soon as the lights were turned on, the NPCs all disappeared. The commander was in the room. Well, this was exactly as I had guessed. That is, we were supposed to have a discussion based on the clues. But my eyes fell on our OU. She seemed a bit off. She was completely unharmed. As for Wen, she looked like she had fallen, and her ankle was bruised. And her face was also full of scratches. Our OU couldn't keep a secret. Wen, is your leg okay? Wen pretended not to care. Humph. For the sake of filming, I don't know how many times I've been injured. These little injuries are nothing. But after all, you got injured because you saved me. Our OU twisted her fingers nervously. And then, as if she had thought of something, she emphasized, one thing at a time. Let me make it clear first. Although you just protected me, I still remember the grudges you had against me before. It was really difficult for her. With a walnut-sized brain, she still held grudges. I thought that after being saved by Wen, she would forget everything. It's so funny. It really looks like primary school kids arguing. Surprisingly, I can kind of sense this unique sisterly bond. By the way, it seems that Wen's family background is really pitiful. Her father and brother gambled and forced her to enter the entertainment industry to pay off their debts. It makes sense that she envies the sisterly bond like our OUs. Wen wants to whitewash herself. Does she really think the internet has no memory? That's right. The mistress should get out of the entertainment industry. I looked at Wen carefully. She was a bit guilty, and didn't dare to look at me. She pointed the contradiction at me bravely but inwardly weak. The commander's death must have been done by our OU's sister. She could have planned all this. And she was leading the rhythm. Wen seems to have colluded with Sin already. Shin agreed with her statement very much. How is it possible? My sister just wanted to lead us. Don't be deceived. Our OU was the first to stand up to defend me. I curled the corners of my mouth slightly and patted her on the shoulder. Our OU and Wen glared at each other, neither willing to give in. Could sister really be the murderer? Looking at sister's smile, I feel a bit scared. I'm completely confused. I don't even know what happened. How did the body suddenly appear at the statue? It's so strange. I just exchanged a glance with Ping Chuan and guessed that he should also know who the murderer was. Although our OU and Wen didn't seem very smart, everyone could be the murderer. As soon as I finished speaking, our OU nodded hurriedly. Wen sneered. What? Are you going to start clearing your own suspicions? Ping Chuan, who hadn't spoken all this time, suddenly said, moving the body could only be done by one of us. Otherwise, someone informed those NPCs to move it. Or else it was one of us who did it. Just now, Shi Wei and I were together all the time. She didn't have time. Brother Chuan, are you helping Hui to speak? Wen said sorry. Brother Chuan is a smart person. What do you know? Our OU made a gesture. The sparks between the two were about to explode at the slightest touch. The murderer is Yin. I pointed at Xin. The director was directly stunned and whispered a reminder. This is still the clue-gathering stage. Not the time to accuse the murderer. Showed the best acting skills in his life. It's not me. Our OU and Wang both saw me doing other things. Yes. Shin and I both have alibis. So neither of us could be the murderer. Our OU doesn't have the IQ to be the murderer either. It's only you. I just don't know how Brother Chuan was deceived by you. Wen continued to speak without thinking. First, should not only be a rickshaw puller. He wouldn't kill the commander just for this money. He should have a second identity. But we don't know it yet. After I finished speaking, Ping Chu uncooperatively nodded. Yes. Chi Wei first found that the commander had been stabbed and fallen in the bedroom. At that time, the commander should still be alive. The servants who came were worried that we would save the commander. So they locked us in the room. Ping Chuan looked at me with a smile. And I continued, but unexpectedly. We got out quickly, found clues, and almost discovered the murderer. At this time, the murderer was among us. When, after you saved my sister, you made an excuse to go and apply medicine. At this time, you were helping the real murderer to move the body. Right? ROU screamed as if she had been betrayed. When, after you saved me, you still had time to move the body? Wen subconsciously refuted, you're talking nonsense. I made sure you were okay first before going to help. As soon as she finished speaking, as if she had revealed something, she raised her hand to cover her mouth. I didn't care and continued. Also, the IOU. Sin. You are very likely to kill for money. After I finished speaking, everyone subconsciously looked at Sin. Because at that time, we were discussing the matter of the IOU. XIN's face. He muttered, it's all your guesses. Halfway through the show, the murderer has been guessed. It's killing me. Can this be guessed blindly? I already believe in Hua's profession. How many cases has she seen? It is recommended that the production team can ask Sister to help write the script. I'm completely confused. Suddenly, the murderer has been found? The director was also confused. But for the sake of the duration, we had no choice but to finish the entire plot. The final result was the same as what Ping Chuan and I had guessed. Wen was XIN's accomplice. When ROU saw Xin. Wen had already helped Xin dispose of the body. When it was finally time to vote for the murderer, it was purely a personal grudge. Sister, you are so amazing. The director said that he wanted to ask you to help look at the later scripts and wanted to increase the difficulty. Without thinking, I said, I charge 300 yuan per hour. Double the price is not impossible either. And the director not far away just happened to hear, okay. No problem. Actually, I just wanted to simply refuse. After the show was recorded, Wen came over again with sarcasm, ROU. With your brain. Just be a pendant for your sister. Don't come to the entertainment industry. ROU rolled her eyes almost to the sky. You think you're so capable. Don't think that just because you saved me, I will repay you out of gratitude. Go home and think about how to deal with your gambling father and brother. Wen shrugged and looked unconcerned. They are my real father and brother. Am I going to kill them like I killed the commander? Looking at these two people, I was helpless. They were bickering like primary school kids, both with childish tempers. Although Wen was a bit annoying, since she could save ROU during the show, she couldn't be that bad. Wen, a sister doesn't need to pay off her brother's debts. You are not a direct relative of your brother. You have no obligation to pay off his debts. I silently turned off my phone and looked up at her. Wen's eyes lit up, but then immediately dimmed. But there's still my father. In Chinese law, debt is a relative right, which is only legally binding on both the creditor and the debtor. If the two parties have entered into a loan contract, unless it is agreed that a third party will perform the contractual obligations, then it is only legally binding on the two parties involved. And there is no so-called father-son debt repayment. Wen grabbed my hand. So, as long as I didn't sign my father's loan, it has nothing to do with me? I nodded. Great. Wen clapped her hands, thanked me excitedly, and then walked away briskly. ROU raised her hand, touched her hair, and looked confused. Sister, Wen, what were you talking about? Just as I was about to take it axi, a man stood in front of me. It was Ping Chuan, and he had already changed into a casual outfit. His hair without hair wax looked much more well-behaved. "Let me give you a ride." The corners of my mouth curled up. "Is it convenient?" Of course. Just like that. When you came to her senses, I was already with Li Ping. This variety show has added some more highlights because of my new face. Even my high school photos could be on the trending topics. Of course. This was also thanks to my embarrassing sister. The director still wants to ask you to continue to be on the variety show. Sister. A love-themed variety show. A love-themed variety show. Mom wants you to fall in love. Doesn't she? I coldly said, "Oh, I have a boyfriend. Worry about yourself." But what I didn't know was that OU was being interviewed by a certain platform at this time. Calling me was also a task in the interview. All of a sudden, the trending topics came again. Chi Wei's boyfriend OU's sister is in love. With whom? Chi Chuan CP is over, huh? There's also a CP between me and Ping Chuan? Ping Chuan came out of the bathroom. Ping Chuan. What if our relationship is exposed? The man wiped the water on his hair, looked at me with slightly raised eyes, and the smile in his eyes was almost overflowing. Then we'll fall in love openly. If someone spreads rumors. Sister. You are a top-notch lawyer. I touched my sore waist and was a bit unhappy. You still have the nerve to call me sister? Actually, Ping Chuan and I have been in love for 3 years. Otherwise, I wouldn't have agreed when OU asked me to go to the detective-themed variety show. It's just that my parents are strict. When OU first entered the entertainment industry, she was scolded half to death. If I were to fall in love with someone in the entertainment industry, I'm afraid it would also make my parents furious. So I played along and went on the variety show. And the acting skills of Ping Chuan and I made everyone believe that we didn't know each other at all before. Even my mother started to ask OU about Ping Chuan's situation. While the trending topics were still there, OU hurriedly finished her work and called me, "Sister. Are you really in love? Then be careful." When said that her brother and her father watch the show and are going to pick on you, I looked at Ping Chuan, who was rubbing my waist for me, and deliberately pressed the speakerphone. "No. I can consider that love-themed variety show. You scared me, sister. Then remember to be careful. One's father and brother are really not to be trifled with." I mumbled yes twice and hung up the phone. In today's society, two gamblers are not allowed to run amok. More importantly, I need to comfort the man who is soaked in jealousy. Sure enough, a certain man looked at me with a resentful face. "Darling, are you going to abandon me? It depends on your performance." Of course. And also on my mood. I smiled, packed my things and went home. Unexpectedly, as soon as I entered the underground garage and opened the car door, the door of the black Toyota next to me opened. When, with snot and tears, begged me for help. "Sister. Save me." I turned my head and was shocked. A middle-aged man was holding a dagger against Wen's neck. The blade was very deep, and the blood dripped on Wen's dress. Blooming like a flower, the air was filled with a strong smell of blood. Judging from his similar appearance to Wen, it was not difficult to tell that he was Wen's father. And in the driver's seat of the Toyota, a scruffy-looking man turned around. "Yo, lawyer Shi. Since you are so idle as to meddle in other people's affairs in the program group, I assume you don't mind meddling a little more? My sister doesn't want to pay off the gambling debts. How about you pay them off?" Wen's brother looked at me with a smile. "You girls always like to say, girls help girls. Well, now your good sister is in trouble. Shouldn't you help?" I tightened my grip on my bag and asked casually, "Don't you know? My sister and Wen don't get along. They are both the white flower type. If she dies, my sister will have no competitor and can take her place. Even for my dear sister, I won't save Wen." Wen's brother didn't believe it at all. "Oh, it doesn't matter if you, the big lawyer, don't want to pay. Dad, do it." "Ah, It hurts. Wen screamed, but still signaled me to run quickly. Woo woo. Sister. You don't know how much I envy you for having a good sister. You go quickly. Don't worry about me. If I die, remember to expose all this. I want them to stay in prison for the rest of their lives. No need. I raised my hand to check the time. Now they will stay in prison for the rest of their lives. As soon as the words fell, several hurried footsteps came, and they pinned Wen's father and brother and sent them to the police station. After being rescued, Wen, with her wound bandaged, hugged me and cried bitterly. Woo woo woo. Sister. I will never envy you again. Her sister was actually willing to save me. I can show off in front of you as much as I like from now on. Let go of my sister. You rushed over after getting the news and wanted to push Wen away. But when she saw the thick gauze on her neck, her hand stopped. I'm telling you. I'm just lending my sister to you to hug for a while. I'm the only sister of my sister. You said angrily. Wen raised her head, and her words made you furious. But your sister saved me. I'm much smarter than someone. I will surely replace someone in sister's heart. When you get better. I'm going to fight you. I won't be a human if I don't avenge the loss of my sister. With Ou's wail. The news that Wen was kidnapped and blackmailed by her father and brother became a trending topic. At my suggestion, she didn't reach a settlement and bravely went to court. Soon, the results came out, and Wen's father and brother were sentenced to life imprisonment, and she visibly relaxed. When the news became a trending topic again, Wen was having hot pot at my house. She bought a house next to mine and, together with OU, came to freeload every day. Of course, someone's jealousy had overturned more than once. The comment section of the trending topic was very lively. Congratulations to my sister for finally getting rid of family torture. The beauty is so pitiful. I heard that Wen became a mistress because her father sold her. Ou's sister is so amazing. Not only is she clear-headed and logic, but also can help others. I will also study law in the future. One for the sister upstairs. I heard that Wen and OU are good sisters now. Is this considered no discord? No concord? I put away my phone and looked at the two people across from me who were competing for food. Good sisters? Not at all. Sister, try this beef slice. It's so fragrant. Beef is likely to cause internal heat. Sister, eat my tripe. It's fresh and crispy. Try the duck intestine. It's your favorite. I looked at the 3 extra dishes on the plate. What a day of competing for my attention. The original intention of my studying law was to help more people get out of trouble. It's not simply girls help girls, but people help people. A week later, on the love-themed variety show, Ping Chuan and I met again. The already disappointed netizens exploded again. How could Hua be on a love-themed variety show when she has a partner? Don't you go online upstairs? OU has already refuted the rumor. My Shichu on CP. Here I come. What everyone didn't know was that Ping Chuan and I just wanted to make an official announcement through this love-themed variety show. OU. This fool. Couldn't see it at all. Sister. That guy is so handsome. Although he likes to play villains. OU whispered. I nodded. He's really not bad. Suddenly, a familiar voice came from behind. OU. Do you think I match your sister? He's here. He's here. Only by taking the initiative can there be results. I'm so obsessed. Last time I felt that there was something wrong between these two people. And now they are on the love-themed variety show together? Top-tier puppy like Guy X-domineering warrior sister. I'm about to have a nosebleed. OU was stunned. And immediately smiled and jumped up. Damn. Brother Chuan. Are you also plotting against my sister? What do you mean by plotting against? Can't you use words properly? I was originally plotting against her. Ping Chuan leaned closer and suddenly packed my face. ROU exploded. The netizens also exploded. Extra story: the first time I met Ping Chuan was 3 years ago in front of my law firm. That day, I had a domestic violence related divorce case on hand, and was in the stage of collecting evidence. I was busy in the office until late at night. All was quiet. When I walked to the entrance, I saw a young man, fully wrapped up, looking intently at the little fat, orange cat in front of him. There was still some cat food in his hand. Unfortunately, the little fat cat didn't give him any face. No matter how he coaxed it, it refused to take a bite. Hekimi. Hekimi. Oh, just have a bite. Just one bite. It was this sentence that made me stop. Immediately. I thought this young man was so cute that I couldn't help but step forward. It ate too much during the day. If you want to feed it something, you can put it over there. It will eat by itself when it's hungry. The young man was startled by me. He stood up abruptly and even reached out to adjust his hat and face mask. I didn't want to bother anymore and turned to leave. Who knew that he actually grabbed me? The grilled cold noodles over there seem quite fragrant. Do you want some? I turned my head and looked into a pair of bright eyes. Somehow, I nodded. When I was standing on the street with the grilled cold noodles in my hand, I still felt like I was in a dream. Sister, I know you. You work in that firm. You're so amazing. Thank you. But why do I think you look a bit familiar? My sister was in the entertainment industry, and I occasionally watched her shows. The young man paused for a moment, and then smiled generously. Let me reintroduce myself. Hello, sister. I'm Ping Chuan. Hui. I also learned later that Ping Chuan's childhood dream was to be a lawyer. Later, by a strange combination of circumstances, he entered the entertainment industry. His admiration for the lawyer profession has not disappeared but has instead turned into a special kind of admiration. So he often passed by our law firm during his evening jogs. And 9 out of 10 times, he would meet me who was working overtime. He was waiting for me on purpose that day. Thus, the gears of fate began to turn.